Great. Get about 2 more minutes and we'll get started. Thank everybody for being on this morning. I appreciate you guys spending the time, taking the time to invest in your personal growth. I'm going to encourage you, if you can, put your camera on. We'd love to see your faces. And also get a pen. Get a pen and some paper and write down. You know, we retain a lot better when we write things out. In fact, I'll share while we're waiting. I'm going to share a little statistic that I read. It's called the learning pyramid. The average rate of retention, the average retention rate with different teaching models. And so what I found was pretty interesting is that 90 to 100% we retain by memorizing and meditating on what we're learning. By memorizing and meditating, teaching others, we retain 90% of the material, 90% better when we teach it, 75% practice it by doing it. We retain 50% when we're in a discussion group like we're in today, 20% by audio and visual, and 10% by reading, which makes perfect sense because if you ever read a couple pages and then stop to think, man, I don't even remember what I just read, or is that only me? I read that, that happens to me all the time. And then we only retain 5% in the lecture format. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And when I found this out, and I read this several years ago, it's one of the reasons that I started getting excited and wanting to teach, because whatever I wanted to learn, I started teaching it. My hand is raised up there. I don't know how that happened. Happened yesterday, right? You guys know that there's something new with Zoom when you put your hand up like this or something, it actually raises your hand. It detects it. Boy, I tell you, technology. There you go. So I'm sorry, I got off track there. I shared this before, but when I really wanted to get good at my listing presentations, I started teaching the class on listing presentation. And within a year, I taught it 3 times. And the following year, I had my best year ever in listings. So if you want to learn something, we'll give you an opportunity to teach one of these on Tuesdays. Just let me know. All right, so let's get this party started. I wanted to start with a little bit of a recap, right? So just for all of those who may have been with us the whole way, I wanted to kind of go back and recap a method that I now call like a blueprint, right? So if you've been with us in October, we started this and we do it every year. Every year we've started, since we've been open, we do a business planning clinic. And right around October, November, many of us were in that class because we need a business plan to run your business, right? In December this year, I did a training on purpose, vision, goals, because you want to, when you're thinking about your new year, you want to kind of start to think about, purpose, vision, goals. How am I going to set the goals? Why am I setting these goals? So we went through a nice session on purpose, vision, goals. And then in January, we did the business building and action workshops. And we did like 3 or 4 weeks on, and we talked about the 4 pillars to running a successful business, right? Your customer service, financial management, customer service, financial management. What is it? What's the other one, Lou? Help me out.
Sales and marketing.
Sales and
marketing and personal growth, right? And then we talked about the 7 habits. And one of those habits in there was mindset. And another one was our success is tied to our daily agenda. And so I wanted to kind of talk about that because when I look at the year right? When I plan my goals out for the year, I think about how I got to where I'm at, and then what did I do during this period of time, because success leaves clues, right? And if you want, ultimately, we're all trying to get results. Has different results, but we're all trying to get some results. And then in February, when we started this new Training Tuesdays, we started with the law of intentionality, because, growth doesn't just happen. It doesn't happen automatically. It needs to be intentional. And then we followed up with the law of awareness, because you have to know yourself to grow yourself. And then we talked a little bit, and we'll talk a little bit more about it today, the law of modeling, right? Following someone or something that is where you're at, that you're trying to attain, and looking at who's done that successfully and what they've done. That's really what the law of modeling is. So for an example, when I was selling real estate full time, I followed Brian Buffini. There's many different people that you can learn from if you want to, take your real estate business to the highest level. Brian Buffini was somebody that I modeled and followed, because I really shared the way that he did business. And as a result of that, many of I've talked about it, how I went from a individual agent doing about 30 to 40 transactions to growing a team that eventually did over 100 transactions. And all of those things I had to learn along the way. And what I really been wanting to do with the company, and feel like I have been doing, is kind of share that model of success, because we all have results. We all want something, right? We all want to achieve something. And in this case, it's, a real estate career. We're not in this just for our, just because it's fun. You want to make a certain amount of money so that you can live a certain lifestyle. So with all that being said, we're gonna do a little interaction today before we get into the training on Think and Grow Rich on Desire. But I wanted to start and listen, guys, let's just have some fun with this. I'm not going to ask you to share your goals, but I do want to talk about who has set goals for themselves this year. We're in March, so if you didn't, it's okay. But who has set goals for themselves in any area this year? Just by a show of hands. Good.
Try not to get the raise your hand feature, so I'm being quick.
Who set a financial goal? Anybody set a financial goal? Good. Good. If you have not set a financial goal, would you be brave enough to unmute yourself and share why you have not set a financial goal for your business?
I'll go. I don't really have a reason why, Mike. I just haven't set one. I told myself that I'm going to be more intentional with my business this year, and I have been. I feel like, but I haven't set a financial goal. I can't tell you why I haven't, but I just haven't.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for being honest and vulnerable. I see Roz has her hand up. Roz, do you have your hand up? Or Tina?
No, I'm sorry, Mike. No, I don't. I did that by accident. I set some goals. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Is that the new feature when you raise your hand, it automatically pops up?
Yes.
Yeah, I tell you, boy, technology's changing all the time. You just raised it again. So I think there's a lot of different reasons why we don't set goals. I think that a lot of us don't know how to set a goal. I think some of us are not sure why we want to set a goal, but I think oftentimes we don't set goals for ourselves because we're afraid of failure. We're afraid of failure. And if I'm being honest, I've set goals, but I've not always shared those goals because I didn't like to be accountable to those goals. And I've been pretty intentional on what I've been sharing pretty much all year with how I go about doing this. And one of the books, obviously, that we're going to talk about today that has helped me to transform kind of how I think, how I do things, how to be much more intentional and why I'm doing the things that I'm doing is Think and Grow Rich. Many of you have heard me talk about this book. I've recommended it. If you are a student of personal growth, if you're a student of success, any of the success gurus, personal growth gurus in the world, if you've ever heard any of them speak, I don't know too many of them that have not read this book and recommend this book. And how many people have read the book?
Chapter 2.
Chapter 2, good. Again, I would strongly recommend reading the book. I've probably read this book, I've read it twice, but I've audio booked it at least 3 or 4 times. Anytime I'm in the car, especially on a long ride, I will listen to it because there's something about the repetition. You might want to write this down. But the more you read something, the more awarenesses that come into your reality. And a lot of times those awarenesses are things in life that you need to know about yourself in order for you to have breakthroughs. A lot of times, speaking for myself, I set goals and didn't achieve the goals and not realizing why I didn't achieve the goals because there was blind spots in my life that I needed to become aware of so I could deal with those things and break through to the next level. And it's been like that. So I say it all the time to those that I coach. It's about progress, not perfection, guys. But the important thing is that you get started. The important thing is that you have a goal and that you have a why behind that goal. And if you need some help with that, more than happy to help you out with that. Come to the meeting next week on the 15th. I want to be sharing some new stuff that I'm going to be launching as far as coaching goes. But this is really a process. And I did this exercise that we're going to do today probably about 5 years ago. So I want you to know that this could change. So don't get tied to, I got to do it. And it's going to be I'm going to get it done just one time. Because as you continue to grow and learn, sometimes your statement of desire and your goals change. I know they certainly did for me because I'm at a different level of awareness than I was when I intensely started growing back in 2016. And when I say that, I've always kind of been a grower. I've always kind of wanted to learn, but I got intentional about it. As many as you know, I talk about it all the time when I joined the John Maxwell team in 2017. So for those that did read the book, there's a secret. Some people say there's a secret in the book, right? Anybody know what the secret is in the book?
Mind,
What was that, Laura?
your mind, you have to think.
Yes, I actually have 2 things written down. You'll see it in the book.
Definiteness of purpose.
What's that?
Definiteness of purpose.
Yeah, Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. But there's a specific thing in this chapter. It's actually two things. Number one, it was an obsession, a burning desire to have something. Whatever that is, right? In this case, it was Edward Barnes. He wanted to have a business relationship with Edison. And that was his burning desire. And the second thing is exactly what Lori said. It really comes down to how we think. How we think. Most of us get our thinking and our belief system from our childhood, but then we also get it from our life experience. Has anybody ever heard, if you think you can or you think you can't, you're right? If you think you can or if you think you can't, you're right. Think about that for a minute. Think about some of the negative self-talk that we tell ourselves why we may not. We know what we need to do to get business, right? We know we need to do some form of lead generation. We talk about it. We know it. Sometimes we even get to doing it. But then there's other times when that self-talk or that negative talk can talk us out of doing the things that we need to do. So the big secret for me that I'm learning, and I think most people that are on the journey learn, it has a lot to do with how we think. We said our beliefs drive our behavior, right? One of the biggest problems I see in the business world and in the world in general is people don't take the time to think. What do you really want? What do you really want? In the handout that I sent over to you guys this morning, Morgan sent out for me this morning, not the chapter on the statement of desire, but the other one. It's at the top, Think and Grow Rich, study by Paul and Roddy. If you can tell me what you want, I can show you how to get it. You can tell me what you want, I can show you how to get it. Lou, what have I been asking you since we opened?
Four simple words. What do you want? It's probably one of the hardest questions to answer unless you really spend the time digging into yourself and thinking about it. And a lot of it, I find, comes back to what your purpose is. And that's another piece that is intentional in finding what that purpose is. It's a whole different topic, right?
Yeah.
But what do you want?
Yeah.
Very simple.
Thank you. And you're exactly right. It came down, right? It comes down to what I really call now, you know, after opening the company and doing what we've done and kind of reflecting and evaluating, I call this journey the journey to purpose. The journey to purpose. Progress, not perfection. You have to get started somewhere, right? This just didn't all happen. There was a lot of goal setting involved in this. There was a lot of intentionality in this. There was a lot of thought that went into this. So there was a lot of time that went into this. This is the secret. You guys have heard me say it. It's one of the key habits. Your success is tied to your daily agenda. If you want something, and we know that one of the things is having a burning desire and an obsession almost. How much time do you think you need to devote to working on what it is that you want to bring forth into your life. We need money to do that. We're all in the real estate business. I see Justin on here, the mortgage business. Some of us have multiple businesses. That's one of the things that I learned, right? So when I started out, I set a goal. I needed to sell X amount of real estate because I needed to make $250,000, right? So we talked about that. Like, how do you make $250,000? In this model, you're going to be roughly about 11 to $12 million. And now we're going to get into those 6 steps, right? So before we do that, I want you guys to be thinking about that question. What do you want? And we're gonna do an exercise here after we go through these 6 steps. But you're gonna have to take some time and write it out. And you're not gonna get it done today, but I want you to, if there's anything to take from this, is that you need to put some time on your schedule for just you to really think about what it is that you want. How much money do you need? How much money? What's the money goal? And you'll see why you need to have a money goal, Tim. You need to have a money goal, even if that money goal changes. You need to have one because you got to have something that's driving you in that direction. Tim, if it's okay, I share, you and I had a talk when you first started about you wanted to go full-time in real estate, right? Well, the answer to that is, what's the amount of money that it's going to take for me to be able to leave my job? For me, when I wanted to go full-time in real estate, I saw the opportunity. I was like, man, I can make a lot more money selling real estate than I can cutting hair. But cutting hair was my main provider for my family, right? So what I had to do was I had to put a plan together to be able to transition to make that my full-time job. How did I do that? Well, I needed to save up 6 months of my income for me to feel comfortable enough to walk away from the barber business, or at least to walk away from the job that I had at the barbershop at the time, go into real estate full-time. So there was a number associated. That's 6 months, that number I saved up, and then I was eventually able to more comfortably just leave my other income. At the time, I had wife, 2 kids, mortgages. So I didn't feel at the time I could just leave or burn the ships like they refer to in this chapter here. So if you have the handout, I wanna go over. I think Morgan sent over the first 4 pages. We're going to be focusing on page 36 right now. And the line item at the top is 81. It starts out, every human being who reaches the age of understanding of the purpose of money wishes for it. But I love the next sentence. Wishing does not bring riches. We can wish for it all we want. But desiring riches with a state of mind that becomes an obsession, then planning definite ways and means to acquire riches, and backing those plans with persistence, which does not recognize failure, will bring riches. And I want to say that there's no such thing as failure if you don't quit. I can't tell you how many things that we have tried. You know, we talk about all the successes at the monthly meeting, right? We talk about all the successes when we have an event. We talk about how great things are and how great things are that we're doing. And we are, right? But we don't talk about some of the mistakes and the failures that we've had along the way. some of those failures have been the greatest learning experiences, which catapulted us into the next level. And without those failures, we wouldn't have been able to get the awarenesses that we need to make shifts and adjustments. Which is why I'm saying, when you do this exercise, do it to the best of your ability, but understand if you continue to intentionally grow, this is going to change. I reread my statement of desire this morning and I changed it today. I literally changed what I had put in there today because it's been a while. I'm not currently doing step number 6 like I should be. And we'll talk about that in a minute. But my point in saying that is that, I don't want you to get frustrated and just stop. I don't want you to get frustrated and stop. You may do this more than once, more than twice. The important thing is that you do it. So the method by which desire for riches can be transmuted into its financial equivalent consists of 6 definite practical steps, right? Number 1, are you ready? You got your pens? You ready? If you listen and say amen.
Amen.
All right, good. First, you got to be definite as to the amount. And as we continue these on Tuesdays, I'll get a little bit deeper in there, but there's a psychology reason for the definiteness, which will be described in another chapter, right? There's a part of your brain. I recommended Atomic Habits a year or 2 ago. The reason, the psychology there is because we want to get in the habit of something here. Okay? We want to get into the habit. You want to be able to stop. You want to put that in your subconscious. The way you do that is by habit, repetition. Number 2, determine exactly what you intend to give in return for the money you desire. There's no such thing as something for nothing. So an example, right? We're in the real estate business, in the mortgage business, whatever businesses that you have. What do you tend to give? Like, we're in the service industry. You're going to have to do something in order to earn the amount of money that you desire. Okay, number 3, we want to establish a definite date when you intend to possess the money you desire. An example is mine is financial freedom. And when I say financial freedom, that means being net worth and having enough that I have to work. I only have to work if I want to. I love working, so I don't ever intend to retire. But financial freedom to me means having the freedom of time and money to work when and how I desire to work. So just sharing my date for that, I have written down on my statement of desire. Okay, then your 4th step, create a definite plan for carrying out your desire and begin at once, whether you're ready or not to put this plan into action. What could that look like practically, right? I'm going to start, I'm going to need to sell $10 million because I need to make I want to make $200,000 this year. So I need to do 10 million. And I'm going to give service to buyers and sellers and investors. And I'm going to lead generate on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 9 to 11, Tuesday and Thursday, 6 to 8, whatever. Or I'm going to do social media marketing on this date. Okay. What's the plan? Everybody's plan is going to be different. Again, most important thing is that you're putting it down. You're writing it out. It's going to change. All right, number 5, we're going to write out a clear, concise statement of the amount of money you intend to acquire, name the time limit for its acquisition, state what you intend to give in return for the money, and describe clearly the plan through which you intend to accumulate it. Example, in return for this money, we will give the highest level of service to our clients as agents and representatives of God's people and our companies. This is from Lori and I. Realty One Group Restore, the Mike Howe team, Restore Land Transfer, Kingdom Coaching. And then what we will do, right, to acquire this. So be as specific as you can.
Mike,
Yes.
I read that differently. When I read it, I was thinking how I will give back, like I will donate food, I will make meals for others type thing.
I love it. I love it. You know, and that's not wrong. So in fact, my coach, Paul, when he did his statement of desire, he kind of was sharing with me his was because he wanted to give $100,000, tithe $100,000 to a charity.
Can I ask a question too?
Yep.
I kind of got on the second step. What do you intend to give in return for the money you desire? No such thing as something for nothing. I was on the mindset also of saying, I'm gonna give up watching TV like Monday through Wednesday in order to work on some of our proposal templates that I want to be sending out. So is that a part of what we're talking about here, or am I not getting that right either?
Absolutely 110%. You're giving your time. You're giving up something in order to achieve what you want to achieve, your desire. And you've recognized that, you know what, it's going to take some time. This is the good stuff right here, right? This is the exercise. Because Laura, that's an awareness, right? In order to be able to achieve something, sometimes we have to become aware of what needs to go to get there.
And I can't watch Netflix every night.
I'm so glad you brought that up. That's called the law of sacrifice. You have to be able to give up in order to go up.
Well, you can even say it's in another way, like you are giving up that time, but you're also giving into a plan. Like you're giving your thoughts to the plan that you talk about. You're okay. I've actually done the same thing. I'm like, I got to give up TV at least, 3 nights a week to read, because I know the person that I'm trying to be needs to be sharper of mind and more mentally focused than putting in, constant Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever into my mind from, 9 to 10 every night. And I become better and more equipped to handle my job and life when I do those things. So I think they're all really same with Kathy's point. I think that's a part of who we're trying to become too, is more sacrificial people. And real estate is a sacrificial job, right? We have to sacrifice our time on, weekends and nights to serve clients. And if we're willing to have a heart to give into charities, that all kind of connects to who we need to become. So I think it's all connected in some way or another.
I just would like to interject here for just 1 minute. We work nonstop, Monday through Sunday, constantly when our clients need us. If you need to watch TV 2 hours a night, please, for the love of God, do not give that up. We give up way too much. And if you need that to re-energize, please do it.
Not gonna do 10 hours, Kat.
But here's the thing, and Kathy, I appreciate that comment. I really do. And Mike, yours and Lori's as well. This is the beauty. Everybody's different, guys. Everybody's different. We all have dreams and goals and reasons why we do what we do, one of my biggest awarenesses is that, you know, I thought for a while, everybody wants what I want, right? Everybody wants what I want. Why wouldn't you want what I want? What I want is good, right? But I've learned that, you know, that's, you know, we're all created differently. We all have things that make us tick, right? We all have different reasons why we do what we do. Some people do things because, you know, their family. Some people do things because they love material things, want to experience travel. The more important piece of this really is that you get in touch with what it is for you, so that you can put together a schedule or a plan, if you will, on reaching what your heart desire is. And we've got an awesome opportunity as business owners selling real estate, one of the most, you know, profitable industries in the world, to be able to do that. And so when you can tap into, you know, when we talk about the business planning and business building and action, first thing is about setting a goal, but also why is the goal important to you? So don't play the comparison game here. It's okay to, if you want to make $100,000 or you want to make $50,000 or you want to make $1 million, it's whatever on your heart's desire. But great comments there, guys. I really appreciate them. Because that's how we kind of learn and grow from each other. I know we all kind of like, you know, maybe Lou and I were talking about last week about, you know, comparing ourselves to other companies and reasons and why. You know, you got to be aware of that and what the motivation is there. So the fifth step, write out a clear, concise statement of the amount of money you intend to acquire, name the time limit for its acquisition, state what you intend to give in return for the money, and describe clearly the plan through which you intend to accumulate. Now, number 6, I can tell you already, I have not attained this, but it's very, very important to this method. Read your statement. Read your written statement aloud twice daily, once just before retiring at night, and once after arising in the morning. As you read it, see and feel and believe yourself already in possession of the money. When we talk about habits, and I've read so much, I'll be sharing over the next couple of teachings about some of these things that I've learned about the mind, right? But Habits was a book that really kind of opened my eyes to how important what we do on a daily basis, even down to how we think, right? So there's a reason why they say, read this every day, twice a day. You want to get this picture, if you will, this vision of what your life is going to be like when you achieve this goal. Right? See and feel and believe yourself already in possession of the money. We started this thing talking about repetition, right? How many of us, after a long day, you know, out on the road, you get finished your last client and you got a 30-minute ride home, and you pull in the driveway and you don't even remember the ride. You don't even remember how you got there. You didn't remember, oh, I got to go down 76 and then get off on 422, and you didn't have to think about that, right? You ever wonder why that is? That's the part of your subconscious mind that's on. If you've been going that way every single day, You don't even have to think about it. So I want you to get this. I really want you to get this, because if you do this, I guarantee you one thing, your life is going to change and your income is going to change. I can guarantee you that. This works. And anybody who knows me knows I don't do anything without getting results. How about it, Lou? How about it, Laura? How about it, Mike? Right?
Well, I want
I'm
to
also
say,
skeptical. I'm sorry, Laura, go ahead. What you were saying, so?
I just want to add a little something to what you said about that. I worked in King of Prussia on Sweetsford Road for 22 years, driving the same way. And for the first couple years after I was let go, anytime I went anywhere near the direction of the beginning of the path down Bridge Street and up Star Street from Phoenixville, I would end up somehow going down 23, and I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? Like, I'm not even supposed to go that way. And the path was so deeply in my brain of, you know, autopilot, automatic in the subconscious, that I had to really, it took me a while to shake that free.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of science and study that I've done on this neuro-linguistic programming. Anybody ever hear of NLP? I think Dawn and I talked about it once before. But I don't want to get off the topic, but just make sure that you keep coming on Tuesdays, because you're going to learn all about it. Because as I learn it, I'm going to share it. And it's really fascinating stuff. And ultimately, you know, my goal and desire is to help people succeed in life. Right? That's the, you know, that's my purpose. And that purpose came about from what I'm training on, really. So it's important that you follow these instructions described in these 6 steps. It's especially important that you observe and follow the instructions in the 6th paragraph. So it is 10:45. I want to leave a few minutes for some more questions and dialogue, but you have this handout here, Think and Grow Rich, on chapter 2, Statement of Desire. If you can tell me what you want, I can show you how to get it. In the chapter on desire, Napoleon Hill gives us the formula for converting the desire for riches into riches themselves. He describes this formula with 6 steps. As you read the 6 steps and think about them, which one do you think is the most important? They're all important, of course. However, he tells us that the 6th step is particularly important, but which is the most important? This question is worth pondering and pondering for some time. Give it some thought and write out your thinking on paper. And I'm going to encourage you to do the work. It's in the application of it, right? Like, we can gain all this knowledge, and I love gaining knowledge, but if you want results, it's in the application. The last thing I will say is that this does take some time. This takes time, and I think as so many of us feel as though, you know, hey, you know, I just don't have time for that. You know, I'm so busy with business, so busy with this, or I'm so busy with that. To that, I will say, activity does not necessarily equate to achievement. You want to work smarter. You really want to work smarter. And that starts by taking the time to get with yourself, put it on your calendar, right? Take an hour and give this thought. Let's write down what it is that you desire. What's that money amount? And then let's be willing and prepared to share that the next time that we meet on Tuesday, 2 weeks from today. I think it's the 21st.
Mike, can I say something?
Sure.
Um,
For those that don't know, Addison is in with Lori. He's shadowing and thinking about, he's kind of interning with us a little bit. Go ahead, Addison.
so currently I'm a server. When I was thinking about it, I thought, those, oh, I'm getting $5 tips, I'm getting a $10 tip, oh, it's nothing. Then at the end of the night, comes out to this big sum of like $200 in that one night, right? So, and then when I was thinking about it, is because I work crazy hours there, and then, I'm coming here to intern here, I also DoorDash in the morning. So like, I really don't have time, I'm working like upwards of like 80 hours a week throughout the various days.
I can't, I'm sorry. I'm having a hard time hearing you because you're too far away and you're coming in and out. I can't hear you.
That good?
Can you hear me now?
Yep, there you go. Better, much
All
better. Thank you.
So I was saying, as a server, I make all these little tips, and I think, oh, I got a $2 tip here, I got a $5 tip here, but what I don't look at is it accumulates. So for me, I was always saying, oh, I don't have any time because I come here intern, I work 50 hours at my Applebee's job, I'm DoorDashing when I have free time. So say, like you were saying, like, oh, I don't have time. But if you put that 15 minutes in, 4 times a day in various different spots, you have that 15 minutes to take a minute, read a book and learn. That's an hour a day that you're putting in. So like, I was just looking at that for me, maybe that's something that other people in here haven't thought about too, that, oh, if you don't have a big chunk of time altogether at that one time, but you put in that maybe 15 minutes, because I know you were saying an hour and some people are like, I don't even have an hour. Or like, I think Kathy was saying that, she needs that 2 hours a day to, kind of unwind and watch that of like time where if she has, that 2 hours, but instead of watching, 2 hours of TV, TV shows an hour and 45 minutes. So that's an hour and a half. So then take the extra 30 minutes, watch your 2 shows instead of watching half of the last one, you have time you can read a book for 30 minutes and accumulate that time of putting time into the learning and the growing of reading book learning versus, oh, I don't have time and just not doing it. Because that's where I was in the past, where I don't have time, but I was choosing to do other stuff in my 10, 15, 20 minutes of free time, which can accumulate to something more in the future.
Absolutely. Good point.
Yeah.
Thank you for
Addison,
sharing
funny
that.
thing, I don't watch TV at night at all. And I just want to advocate for people who only work because I
Yeah.
know how important it is to have balance. We all choose something different. It might be,
Mhm.
sometimes I do like to read at night for an
Yeah.
hour, but we're all
Mhm.
different and we all need that downtime.
Yeah.
And that's the point, right? Like, we're all different. That's
Mhm.
so true. And when you have a burning desire for something, you will prioritize differently.
Yeah.
Yes and yes.
Yeah.
Right? So it really kind of comes down to what your heart desire is, and you determine that by kind of getting in that alone space and kind of thinking about what do you want your life to look like at the end of the year? Here's December, right? It's holiday season. You want to buy gifts for people. You want to have I don't know, whatever it is, right? In order for you to achieve what you see at a future time, you have to spend some time really kind of thinking about it, envisioning it, till it becomes that desire in you that will get you to do the things that you need to do to achieve the desires of your heart. So this process of personal growth is really, again, remember that awareness, right? Because when you start this, you may say, hey, I want to make X, and then start to kind of realize and spend some time with yourself that, maybe I need to make more. Or maybe I don't need, because to Kathy's point, I'd like to have a little bit more balance or harmony in my life. So do I really need to make $250,000, $300,000? Or can I be at a better balance with 100? Right? You won't know unless you make the time. You won't know unless you make the time. Kind of think about it. What do you want to see your life? What do you want to see your business look like at the end of this year? And in the next 3 years, where do you want to see yourself? In the next 5 years, where do you want to see yourself? It starts really by spending that alone time, writing it out on paper. Because wishes don't equate to riches. Anything else? Any questions? Any comments? Anything that you guys want to add or share? We got about 6 minutes.
Michael, I will just add, and I'm sorry about the video. I did send a chat message to you saying I'm driving to an appointment, but I'm listening in.
Thank you.
So just wanted to add to that, you know, the amount of time that we spend traveling in our vehicles, you know, I make the best of Audible, or you can even go to your public library. You even have access to our the One Zone, and you have the ability to get some really great books through that, just Audible books that you can listen to that way. So that while you're taking that 15 minutes and you're just spending some time unwinding, listening to some great material to just fill those 6 inches between your two ears with some really good stuff that keeps your mind focused and out of, I want to use the word despair, because sometimes it does come down to you're just frustrated beyond belief when you've shown multiple homes and you've multiple offers and you didn't get that winning bid or whatever it might be. So anyway, that's the other part I just wanted to add.
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much, Dawn.
I would even add, Dawn, I think in what we're doing, you know, in real estate, that's lead generation time too. You know, when I have like hour-long drives now, or, you know, 45, whatever it is, I had a client in Drexel Hill, so I found myself going back and forth a lot. You know, I'm getting on 76 and I'm like, all right, I can either listen to, you know, sports talk, or I'm going to just, you know, call some past clients and just check in. You know, those times I feel like are valuable too.
Yep, absolutely. That's great, Michael. Mm-hmm.
I don't listen to anything in my car anymore. Very seldom do I listen to music, and if I do, it's like Christian music. But what I always listen to almost every day where I'm going is either I'm audio booking or podcasts.
Man, you're on the phone all the time.
That's totally not true. But what I will say is, you know, your success is tied to your daily agenda. And remember, you got to give something out. You got to be giving something if you expect to get. You got to give. It's a service that we provide, right? In order to achieve the goal, you got to give something. And what do we know about that? Anybody? You cannot give what you do.
Yeah.
You cannot give.
I think
what
it all
you do
starts
not
with a
have.
smile too.
What's that?
I said it all starts with the smile too. It's amazing
Yeah.
what just a smile can do. The
Absolutely.
conversation it can start.
Absolutely. So, hey, I'm going to encourage you and you know, kind of push you to play all out. Do this work. I'll tell you this. I know that there's probably no other real estate company out there that is going to take an hour out of their time that's going to try to teach you guys this, when most of them will be like, oh, sell. I believe that when you do this, when you take care of the people, profits take care of themselves.
Yeah, I mean, you got it, you're teaching us how to think.
Put in the work, guys. Take the time. You're worth it. You deserve it. Invest this in yourself. And if we don't have any other questions or comments, I will see you guys sometime this week, I'm sure.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks,
you.
Mike.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, brother.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks again. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Mike, thank you.